Tyrannosaurus Rex fossil found with remains of communication satellite in stomach. Film 11.
I don't see anything.
At the end of the last episode, this is what happened.
Run, Jesse!
We see that Jesse, who had been separated from his parents, and, as we will see, had been living in 1996, is also present in the Old West. Oh, and he's also about to be shot.
I'm gonna kill your pa. And I'm gonna kill you.
Never mind, Jesse somehow manages to save the day, I guess, or was it his mother controlling him? I'm not entirely sure. The game ends due to a time limit, I guess. Someone yells something unintelligible.
This round will end in 10 seconds.
Or it ends by a draw, or Mordor wins because his pawn got away. I'm not really sure. But who cares about that right now? We got one hell of a cameo coming up.
Well, Howard, what about that fantastic comeback by Mortar? And what about that kid?
What about that kid? You can say that again.
What about that kid?
Holy sheepballs, it's Mean Gene Okerlund and Bobby the Brain Heenan of wrestling fame. How fucking cool is this? They are without a doubt the best thing in this movie. But to be fair, this is a real step down for them. In 1995, they were doing really good work in WCW.
You smell like an Elliot Ness raid.
I have an idea. Could you do me a favor?
Sure.
Could you dry clean that tie and then burn it?
Real all-nighter, getting very late.
Oh, I'm sorry. You'll get it figured out sooner or later, Heenan.
Well,
It's a megaphone.
You know what it is?
Dipstick.
and
On second thought, this movie's a step up. One would think having pros like Mean Gene and Bobby Heenan there to explain the rules of the game, that would help. But it doesn't.
Outgunned 4-1. Turned a very dangerous situation around with a little help from his friends. And how about the kid? He never did get to execute the coup de grace.
Well, let's take a look at that move one more time from Mortar. I think this was critical. It was Mortar's pawn that was freed, but it was Evelyn's Jonathan that was out and about.
It is made pretty obvious that the players are the ones controlling their pawns. That we can say for certain. What is confusing is to whether or not they can control other people who are not pawns. As they play the game, it intercuts shots of the players controlling their pawns by randomly pressing shit. That makes sense, but what doesn't make sense is that they still do this when other people are shooting or when Jesse grabs the gun. Are they controlling him? Are they not? I don't fucking know. Mean Gene says that this is a team effort.
Howard, we tend to forget that this is a team sport. I know for a fact that Mortar's pawn is one tough customer, but without everybody's help, he's not going to score points.
So does it answer the question, can they control other people? Sure, I guess they can. Some rules would be fucking nice. Is it so much to ask for them to clearly define the rules? Just take one goddamn minute and say this is how the game is played. Good movies actually take screen time to explain their fucking rules. Look at The Hunger Games. We, the audience, know how The Hunger Games is played. The movie took time to explain it to us. People are selected, they go to an arena, and they fight to the death. Not that complicated. But for a movie like TimeMaster, that would be way too difficult. We, the audience, know the basic gist of the game, but that's really about it. And whatever we learn, it's completely shot out the fucking window because the movie just keeps dropping random shit in whenever they feel like and changing the rules, confusing everyone. Anyways, we cut to a new location, but we hear something very interesting.
But first, we'd like to remind you that immediately following tonight's telecast, we'll be playing that movie classic,
Casablanca, starring any actor or actress you want. Punch in your choice, sit back, and enjoy.
Ah, so that's how Overdrawn at the Memory Bank was made.
Not now, sweetheart. He's got some talking to do, all right, but with me. Tell the piano player to play anything you want, Lola. Mom, my nuts.
My nuts?
Following the commercial, Mean Gene gives us some rather important dialogue that we should have been given in front of the camera as opposed to being done as a voiceover that you can barely hear.
Evelyn's pawn, Jonathan Adams, is still alive. He's badly wounded, and without modern medicines, it's doubtful he'll make it. But until he dies, Evelyn won't be strapped into the chair. Stay tuned. Tomorrow's going to be another exciting one.
In case you couldn't understand what Mean Gene was saying, he said that Evelyn would not be turned into blue because her pawn was still alive. So you can lose the game, but still not get killed. This would have been nice to know all along with the other vague rules to this stupid sport. I know, I keep harping on this, but like, would it have killed anyone to take 30 seconds and just explain the rules all at once rather than giving them piecemeal to us over the course of the entire fucking movie? We get to see some Pat Morita home security footage, and he's watching the game at home on an Earth TV. Yeah, I'm not sure how that makes any sense, but you know what? This film has way more egregious sins, so I'm gonna kinda let this one slide. Now would be a good time to finally reconnect with Jesse. He is living in the year 1996 at an orphanage where he finds out that he's about to be adopted, but not his sister.
Leacocks have decided to take you. They'll be by tomorrow morning.
What about Veronica?
Leacocks don't want a daughter, they want a son.
And before we move forward, no, this is not the Jesse from the Old West. This is the Jesse originally from 2007. And to make it even more confusing, the father that is present in the Old West is Jesse's father from 2007. Confused? Well, you should be. As we continue with the plot, Jesse is unhappy with his pending adoption, so he decides to flee and find his parents.
Because they want me to go off with parents who won't take you. I'm not gonna do it.
They don't want me?
I'm gonna look for our real parents.
I think our real parents are dead, Jesse.
I've seen them.
You've seen them?
In dreams.
Yeah, I've seen them too.
Good Odin, that is some terrible, awkward acting, man. No wonder neither of these fucking kids ever went on to appear in another film. They're terrible. Jesse makes his escape and he runs into Pat Morita, who is waiting for him outside. The two of them go back to his place just in time for a stupid domino gag. Following that useless crap, we get a stupid philosophical debate between the two geniuses.
And you are but a thought, a vagrant thought, a useless thought, a homeless thought wandering among the empty eternities.
I think, therefore I am.
This conversation leads to the realization that Jesse's father is alive, and then this happens.
Oh my God. I've been there. I knew I wasn't crazy.
Jesse boy, your parents are not dead, but they are in very grave danger.
That's right, Jesse was there. But didn't I just say that that was a different Jesse? Yes, I did. So how do we know that that was a different Jesse? Because later on in the movie, they tell us it is a different Jesse. How is the Jesse from 2007 remembering the Old West? There are only two things that I can think of. One is that when the family was taken from 2007, they were taken straight to the Old West, and that's where Pat Morita stole the kids from. But that doesn't seem right either because we find out that his sister's dead in that timeline. The only other idea that I can think of is that Jesse existed in the Old West, and at the moment he took the gun and yelled at his father, the Jesse from 2007 occupied that same space. And if that doesn't make any sense, I don't know what else to tell you because this movie doesn't make sense and I'm tired of trying to fucking figure it out. It's finally time for Jesse to become the TimeMaster and save his worthless parents by staring at a wall. Okay, technically there's a time tear there.
I don't see anything.
Look with your heart, not your eyes.
Pat Morita gives some more vague Yoda talk, and Jesse's on his way.
Look for me around corners. I'll be there.
We see that the time tunnel, or whatever the hell this is full of public domain history bubbles. Except that he can't go in any of them, except for when he does this. That's good, right? Fuck with the time continuum some more. I'm sure that history won't be affected or confused in any way when they find that fucking satellite. Hell, he even has a quip about it.
Tyrannosaurus rex fossil found with remains of communication satellite in stomach. Film 11.
What's film?
What's film? That's a common pretentious question asked by many a college professor trying to be deep. All joking aside though, I will give Jesse 1 point, and that's for his selection of movies.
Movies. Terminator 2, Wayne's World, Back to the Future, Aladdin, The Little Mermaid, Jurassic Park.
Not bad, but you forgot Johnny Mnemonic, Maximum Overdrive, and Out for Justice, kid.
I want the club sandwich!
What the fuck?
Yeah, but he's not here. And you know why he's not here?
Why?
Because he's a chicken shit fucking pussy asshole. You know?
There to meet Jesse in the past is the love interest of sorts, Anne, played by Michelle Williams.
You were screaming strange things. Film at 11? That's magic.
Yes, that very famous Michelle Williams, the one who played Glinda in the new Oz movie. She had a very interesting time shooting this film. She has referred to it as time waster, and went so far to deny its existence for quite a while. You may be asking, why would she do this? Because her character is pretty worthless. The entire point of her character is to basically be pulled by the arm from one location to the next, and stand in the background while other people have a conversation that doesn't involve her. It's like even when she's involved in a conversation, she's still in the background. It's like, who the hell wrote this shit?
Oh, I don't think they look like they could kill anybody. Maybe this thing over here could chop your head off.
It was really nice to see Michelle Williams. Now she can do her job and get her ass back into the background where her stupid character belongs. Because she's not the reason that I brought this scene up. It's for what's about to happen.
Jesse, your daddy's dying. So, if you want to see him, you better come in.
Yes, Jesse's mom is present here as well. Now, I know I shouldn't be surprised that she would be here, but for some reason, I still am. I have no idea if this is a different version of Jesse's mom, or if this is the version of Jesse's mom from the future, and they just file her here when she's not playing the game. And I'm not gonna pretend like I fucking know, because at this point, I don't think anyone knows. We see that Dad is dying and he's mumbling some crap when Jesse drops a Macho Man elbow on that dipshit pastor, man.
And stop talking in the devil's tongue.
He's not talking in the devil's tongue. He's delirious from fever. I've come a long way to see my dad, and I'm not gonna let him die just because some bozo's more interested in spouting bullshit than trying to keep him alive.
Wow. Two things that he and I agree on. We both like most of the same movies from the early 90s, and we both thought The Preacher was full of bullshit. Now, if only he and I could agree on the fact that he sucks, man, we'd be getting somewhere then. Using the power of science, Jesse manages to save his father's life. Later that night, he and Michelle Williams sneak into town and run into a very familiar historical figure.
Who the hell are you?
Billy.
Yeah, that's Billy the Kid, and I'm not really sure how this is even possible. Let me explain. We see a conversation later between Dad and Jesse about his sister. We find out that his sister died a year before. Jesse goes to pay his respects at the grave. We see that she died in 1863, putting the current events of the movie in the year 1864. This is extremely important because Billy the Kid was born in 1859, putting him at the age of 5 during the events of the movie. Which means that that guy is not Billy the Kid. I don't know who the fuck he is, but he is a fucking creeper and he needs to stay away from these goddamn kids. Good old imposter Billy the Kid here is played by none other than George Pilgrim. I'm probably sure you've never heard of him because he's never done anything worth a goddamn note.
I got nothing against blowing up banks.
Hell, on his official website, he lists TimeMaster as his most coveted role, which is fucking pathetic. I mean, think about that. The only thing he does of note in this movie is shoot a guy. How is this his most coveted role? Ah, that's right, because there's a really successful actor in this movie. Michelle Williams. Oh, well, she would become famous. Now he's gonna piggyback off her success. Talk about fucking desperate. While George Pilgrim's acting career might be shit, his extracurricular activities outside of acting are very interesting, like seeing the Men in Black.
Because I didn't know if we were going to get shot. You gotta understand, this is Arizona, it's wild, wild UFO West. They'll just shoot you out here and you'll never find their body. They don't care.
Or for stealing $2 million from various corporations back in 2006. And lastly, my personal favorite, being the secret boyfriend of a woman dating a 95-year-old man. That 95-year-old man who just happens to own CBS and Viacom. I'll be honest, George Pilgrim the Man is far more interesting than anything he's ever acted in. Jumping back into the plot, imposter Billy is challenged to a gunfight, and what does our brilliant hero Jesse do?
You're wearing your gun on the wrong side. You're the one who invented the cross-draw. You put your gun on your left hip, butt out, and drew in one smooth motion. It's much quicker. You never lost.
Kinda like that.
Yeah, I bet he likes it. This is our stupid hero teaching a murderer how to be a more efficient killer. Way to go! So what happens when you take a killer and make him more efficient? Just ignore the fact that this breaks the laws of physics. How the hell is this supposed to help anyone? And if Jesse hasn't made things worse, he's about to because he's about to fuck history one more time.
Watch out for Pat Garrett, Billy. He's the only one you gotta worry about.
Thanks, kid.
Yeah, way to go, Jesse. You just sent a guy who isn't even the real Billy the Kid to kill a guy you've never even met. And what that does to history is all up for debate, but none of it's good. Now that Jesse has shit all over history, he decides to return home and speak to his now awoken father.
Attackers were using something called a catapult. When I saw that picture, I knew I'd been in a battle where one of those had been used.
Yeah, that's right. Dad remembers being in 2007 fighting the bandits. I mean, he openly admits to remembering the time where they come from. And that's not confusing to anyone. What happened to the dad that existed in the Wild West? Did he just replace him? As completely irrational and confusing as this statement is, what he says next is even more confusing.
No, your mom didn't want to talk about it. She knew that I knew. She'd been there too.
I give up. I give up trying to understand this. So the mom in 1864 also remembers 2007. I did mention before that the 1864 version of Mom might actually be the 2007 stolen version of Mom, and the people who run the game just store her here for some goddamn unknown stupid ass fucking reason, even though when she comes to the future she's wearing completely different clothes. Right, I know, none of that makes any sense, but I don't want to get too deep into it. We have to assume that the version of Mom in 1864 is the 2007 version, because she clearly remembers the bandit attack, which just opens up a whole what the fuck paradox. Like, none of this makes any fucking sense.
I think I'd have died if you hadn't come back.
What do you mean, came back? Wasn't I always here?
Well, someone was here. I don't think it was you.
Okay, so Dad seems to think that they're different people. Like, where do these fucking people go? Do the originals die? Do they disappear? When the people from the future come to inhabit the body, do they just borrow it for the time being? I don't know what the fuck is going on. The only answer we ever get is this stupid throwaway line that Jesse gives.
But you were here, Jesse.
It wasn't exactly me. Isaiah calls it parallel time.
Parallel time, huh? Did the dipshits who made this movie ever see a movie called Back to the Future 2? That movie deals with parallel time really fucking well. And in fact, when they go back to 1955, there's two Doc Browns. It's not like the Doc Brown from 1985 replaces the Doc Brown in 1955 when he goes back into the past. There's fucking two of them, the way there should be. They're both from two separate timelines. One doesn't replace the other. Ugh, this is the most frustrating, confusing movie I have ever fucking seen. It's like, how far are we into this piece of shit? We are only halfway done with this movie. I need a break. So, till next time, TimeMaster, blow it out your ass.
And what about that kid?
What about that kid? You can say that again.
What about that kid?